Hey guys, so coming on, gonna clean up this tray. This is the last episode of this series. I know, been a long time coming, but we're here. I was gonna put my light that I have above the camera on, but look how shiny it is. It just reflects right off. So we will turn that off. Might seeing if I could dim it, but even still, yeah, it's gonna have to be off. Okay, so we can actually take it out of the tray. Now it is still a little bendy, even though it's been sitting here for like, I don't know, don't ask me, like a week-ish. So still a smidge bendy. It's gonna need a little bit more time to cure, probably fully up. I probably need to put a couple pieces, like heavy pieces on the ends, just to help keep it's wanting to curl. Here's the bottom side. This is where we had those bumps. Remember I said the mold was bumpy. So you could do a display like that if you like that side. I mean, it's got cute feature. No, that's fine. Or we have this side, which we added the handles on and feature. I was worried about the handles being a little rubbery, but as time has gone on, they're not bad. It wouldn't like suggest it's a tray that you're gonna just like haul a heavy thing around. You're probably gonna grab it like this. The handles are more decoration based, right? But I will tell you, these are super sharp. We've got a lot of sharp edges here. So what we do need to do is get all this cleaned up, potentially Dremel some of it, and so forth. I am going to start with using my deburring tool just to see. Now I have to be careful that I don't scratch anything in the center here. And I'm just, that actually did really nice. And we'll probably on the handles, I'm thinking what we'll end up doing is, oh, yeah, because I just scratched the center of the handle. I'll probably end up just putting some UV resin in those to make those nicer and clean that up. That's kind of my thinking. Deburring tool does take a little practice to make it nice, but that cleaned up that very nicely. Now, ooh, we have a very sharp piece right here. I might need the scissors just to see if I can cut this piece off. It's thin enough. Just take that right on off. Okay. So you'll see pieces flying everywhere, which is rather annoying, but let's go to this phase, the cleanup phase, which I truthfully don't love, but you gotta do it to give it that finished off look. There's like a, there we go. Okay. And then our edges here. Ooh. I'm hearing pieces fly everywhere. We're going to have to pull out the little vacuum and I gotta be careful that I'm not scratching. Pull out the little vacuum and suction all this up. It's interesting, this like dips here a little bit. Now, what we're going to do to hide this imperfection around the edge is probably just do a little gold border just to give that pretty finished look on it. So just kind of getting us a start with the deburring tool. Usually when there's a raised edge like that, you can get a pretty good you can get going pretty good with that and so forth on the starter. With the deburring tool, you can just kind of keep going around it and get a lot of that off of there, which is what you want to do. Because you definitely section all this up because it is a mess. A mess. For sure. So we'll just get our little vacuum and get my little attachment on it. It's just a cordless vac. Oh. It must be. There it is. I was like, doing it. God, what do you mean? It's a little loud, but you know, gets the job done. Get all those little pieces kind of suctioned up out of our way. Now, we're going to do a little dremeling around the edge and around the tops of these, just to finish smoothing them out. This might have been on, so let's see how long I have battery of it. And I'm just finding the angle that works best for me. Again, I'm not super worried about the handles getting all scuffed up because we're going to put a clear bit of UV resin on it, and that's going to clean this right up. You're not going to notice this imperfection. So, that's why I'm not worried about scuffing up the whole handle. You gotta be careful to not go too deep in a spot and create a divot, but obviously you want to get as much off as you can to smooth that out. Just kind of, as you can see, just getting on here, smoothing that out. Then, this is going to be the harder part, because I don't want to bump our inside of our piece, but I definitely want to get, there's like a bubble there, that fan that out. This is super messy. All this dust flying. Not ideal. So you definitely would want to wear your protective gear. Because even though the resin's cured, it's still a chemical. So now you're making a chemical dust. Yep, I was waiting for it to fully die. And it did. It did. So nice of it. But you know what? This is why this crazy craft lady has other pieces. We just have to switch out our tool. Question is, where is the other part to this? Uh-oh. I get the hiccups, y'all. That's gonna be no good. So, we just need to switch out this piece so that I can get this piece in. Before I do that, I'm trying to do this all while holding this button down because otherwise it starts spinning. But there we go. We gotta put our cap on first before we put this in here so that it can tighten that down basically around it. Alright, now I'm gonna get a new piece. I'm gonna crank this up to 2 just because I think that's really what it's gonna need. Oh, listen to that sound. So much better when you have the right speed and so forth. Crazy. Okay. Did I get it? Oh, this thing. I was thinking I had missed a end, and this is the end I missed. Yay! Look how messy we are. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. Alright. I'm going to use my little shop vac thing again. My mini vac. Get as much of this stuff off as I can. And then we'll wipe it down. Sometimes you forget which setting you need to be on. So that I could rub on it because it's plastic, and so it's going on top of this, which then doesn't hurt it. But I was being gentle too, so I'm not scratching the resin. Just wanted to be clear about what I was doing there. Okay, paper towel, and Lord have mercy. I know I saw my spray bottle literally the other day. Here it is. And I'm just spritzing a little bit of water. This is nothing more than some water. I don't want anything else other than water because if you did rubbing alcohol, you're going to make the resin dull. And I don't want to do a whole nother coat of resin on here. So to avoid that, we are going to not make ourselves have more trouble. So we are going to just use some water, not a ton, just enough to gather up any of the remaining dust particles that were on there. Okay, this is looking so good. I just love it. Alright, I'm going to get some UV resin and our UV light. I'm going to use the Counterculture DIY light. I just wanted to make sure that it was going to clear without touching the top, because we don't want that. Let's get a little tool to help us. And whoa. Basically, we're going to try to not go on the edge and down the sides. We're just trying to give enough to go in the middle to the edge. And then when I came out there, I about went right over the edge by squirting it over the edge. And so all I'm doing with my tool here, this silicone brush, is just making sure that I push the resin to our edge. Again, being careful to not have it tip over the edge, but also making sure that where I have sanded is going to get covered. So it's a fine line between getting it fully covered and not over the edge. Silicone brush is the best thing you can use for this. It helps move that resin, but also avoids scratching up your piece more. So I love some good silicone brushes. They are like my go-to when I'm UV resin, regular resin, whatever I am doing. They are my go-to. Now I'm going to take a little lighter. Like I've seen a bubble there. I'm going to just get that bubble popped. I'm going to go through, see if I see any others. I'm going to just try to get them taken care of. It looks like we're trying to run down the side right here. So I'm just going to scoop that off. And check in anywhere else that it might be trying to run away on us. And I don't see anymore. So we're going to just go ahead and get a light on that. We probably want to do 180 seconds just to make sure that gets fully on cured, and so forth. So you could potentially come over and start doing this handle. You would want to make sure that we put something in between just to help that light not cross over. I just want to, you know, kind of block it essentially. So I just have this little black styrofoam. It's not even styrofoam, it's like a foam piece. I'm just going to put it there so that when I'm putting the resin on this side, it's not, the light is not getting to this resin. Now, in the setup I have here, I don't think it would have probably done. It would have been low enough that I don't think it would have hit it, but again, let's not create more issue for ourselves. And so this is how we don't create issues for ourselves. We just block that light so that it can't get to this resin while we're still working it. And because I'm doing the whole under 180 seconds, this is allowing me to not be just like twiddling my thumbs, which if you've watched any of my episodes before, you know that I can't stand to just be hanging out, standing still, doing nothing, twiddling my thumbs. It will literally drive me crazy. So this allows me to go ahead and get this other side worked up. And if y'all noticed how that just shines right up, that's why we do this. We're shining it up, making sure that it has that finished look. Now you could do this around the edge of the actual tray and then, you know, touch up these edges with some UV resin. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and just do, like I told y'all, with just a little bit of a gold pen. I think it will give it the finishing touch it needs, and it will save us a ton of time, because we definitely have to put UV resin in stages on it, so this will just save us. Alright, let's just see. I'm working a little bit there. That's the other thing the light can do for you, is it can shine a spot where maybe you're missing just a little bit of resin, and I don't need much. I'm just going to put a dab on it was just this corner just didn't quite have enough to fill it in, so that will do it. Now we can just pop this over here and do it for 180 seconds. Yeah, it's still a little tacky, so I'm not going to full on touch it just yet. It's still pretty tacky just because of the coloring that we've got going on. Yes, we're putting a clear coat on top. There's a lot of color underneath. Also, you're going to have to let it cool a little bit. Sometimes if you're curing resin, UV resin too hot, too fast, it can also make it still seem really tacky. So I don't want us to end up doing that. So we'll just take it in phases. It's fine. That's probably all the UV resin we really need. I know, very simple and easy. So we'll get our gold pen that we're going to use out, because we're going to have to get it ready. Let's see. Now, this is a uni paint pen. Nothing super fancy about it, other than it is like, oh, son of a gun, I lost my train of thought, folks. Poof it went. It's like spray paint, so it's gonna have that same smell, and it's got the little marble in it that's, you know, ping-ponging around in there so that it keeps the paint loose. So I think this paint pen's about done, so we'll have to see how far we get with it, but I have my other ones ready and on standby. I'll just wipe it off my Dremel tools. The one I will charge. I left it over here so I can remember to plug it in. Oh, these look so good. The coloring is just, ooh. I really like that we added the gold flakes in. I think that that really helps give some definition. And I love how this gold swirls, but that we can then see the other colors further down, which is really neat. I like giving that multi-definition look and so forth. So super pretty. Now I'm thinking with the gold, I just want to do an edge. I don't want to do the whole side. I just really want to do the edge. So I'm going to have to be very careful and cautious as I do that to make sure that I do it in a way that's very nice. Oh yeah, these are nice. Nice, nice, nice. Nice, nice. This side is still, I should have wiped the side off more, but it's okay. Do that momentarily. Okay, move this little guy out of our way. Okay, this just has a little bit of water on it, so I'm just going to go around the edge here. Trying to get some of that dust back off. Okay. Let's see how this works. I'm going to have to use a paper towel. Whew, there we go. Alright. Just nice. Then, you see I'm just kind of slowly going and just covering that imperfection where we Dremeled. And this gives a nice shine. And I'm going to go kind of all over the place just from a standpoint of like where I feel the most comfortable. So I'm going to probably bounce a little bit just so that I have you in view, but also so that I'm got a comfortable spot that I'm not bumping these and bumping other parts. So but it's easy. You don't have to really worry about, like, if you go over a spot twice, it's not going to really darken it per se, and it blends easy when you connect it in, so you're not worried about that on this with this paint. You know, some paint, if you go over the same spot more than once, it like darkens it in that spot, but not with this. This is a very versatile paint pen. It pretty much marks on everything. It will come off of silicone. But for the most part, like, it's meant for glass, metal. It says all on here. Marks on anything. Well, maybe it doesn't say on this one. It just says marks on anything. But essentially, metal, glass, you can do wood, about any material you think. Now, it will stick to silicone. I was trying to get an imperfection there, but I'm creating more. Well, that kind of actually worked out. It's okay. It's smeared, but we're okay. Because it almost looks wispy right there, so I'm not going to stress about that. I did scratch it here, but I don't think anybody's going to notice it, but me. Me is going to notice it. A little over halfway, and I don't want to get too antsy about getting it done and mess it up. So if I started to feel like super antsy and I wasn't doing a tutorial, I might do this in parts. Like, I would paint a little area and then come back and paint another area without doing it all at once, so that I'm keeping steady. But I'm gonna persevere through this. Okay. Again, if you get it wiped pretty quickly, you can save it. So it will stick to silicone, but you can easily wipe it out with some rubbing alcohol. So, alright, that's what I was trying to say the entire time. Alrighty, let's take a look. I'm not going to pick up by our handles. I just want to look at the sides and make sure that I covered mostly the little edge imperfections. I still got some dust in here in these little crevices. That's just dust from the dremeling that we need to wipe out. The sides are cool too, because you can kind of see the layers, which is why I didn't want to do a full-on paint on it, partly. Okay. That's just dust. Looks good. I went off the edge there a little bit, but again, I think it's going to just look like the gold wispy because I wiped it so quickly. So, oh yeah, these feel amazing. They got a couple sticky spots like on the ends of them. So I think what we're going to do for those is do our little light that is battery operated, and be able to just put those on the end and let those finish curing up. But ultimately, so I'll do that for all 4 ends, but ultimately this is done. And that's really it. So this tutorial ended up being 7 episodes, and I don't know if people recall, but this all started from us covering some coasters. So just take us back a minute. Let's try to turn on our light and just see if that will work with our, yeah, we can make this work. Look at this coaster. It is stunning. Absolutely stunning. We did the gold on the edges. We're not worried about the back, but look how beautiful this is. Just gorgeous. I love how that turned out. That is, I think, one of my faves. Now, this might be my next fave, because this one, I'm trying to make sure that I don't blind y'all, the beautiful shine that we get, but this one also has some really uniqueness going on in it, which I love. I'm going to move our light to the other side. Okay. Then we did some like flower pattern. So I do like that. I think it's a cool look. I don't know if I would per se do it again, but I like how it came out. It was fun to do. You know, I just think I like the other style a little better, personally. Although I do like this one a lot too, because it really got some definition in those blooms that are pretty stunning. So yeah, so we ended up with 4 coasters, 4 gorgeous coasters, and then a tray. And we ended up with other small things, which we will continue to finish. We do have our crosses that have our gold hearts in. Now the next series that we're going to be doing is teacher gifts, and you'll see when I do this part of it. So the teacher gifts series is already recorded and ready to roll out here over the next few weeks. So you'll get to see how I do this part of it. But we did this part during this. So very fun and cool. So you get some extra things along the way. Of course, if you pour extra resin, you're going to end up with that. Let's bring this tray up. Oh, that cured up nicely. I might need to put it on this side for a little longer, but that end really cured up nicely. So I'm going to bring it up so we can see it. Now we're going to get the reflection of the lights because I do have them on, but that allows you to really see these colors in here and how stunning they come out. Like, look at that underneath the handle even. Just how gorgeous that is. I mean, I love how a piece like this can turn out. The gold flecks giving us definitely some definition. These wisps, the other layer below that, and then of course our bottom layer, which is really pretty too, that came from, you know, pouring those coasters on top of here and letting them drip into the tray mold that we have. So just stunning. Resin is one of those things that is just so beautiful, and you can do so much with it. You do have to have some patience, which is so funny for me to say because I don't always have a ton of patience, but when it comes to resin, I tend to have a lot more patience and let the process roll. So I do like that. The other thing I'll probably do is put a heavy book on either side of this and weigh it down for a couple weeks just so that it can finish flattening and get more solid. It is trying to curl. It's just kind of resin when you get big pieces like this going. So, but yeah, I will finish curing up these ends of the handles, lay that flat. And I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I know it was a little bit longer than expected. Next series is going to be a longer one too, just because we're going to be doing some teacher gifts. But I'm going to drop a bonus episode in there too, because I got a new tool. And so I'm excited to reveal that tool. And so that will actually come out next week, that one. And I'll probably have the teacher gifts start the next day after that one comes out, or maybe even a few hours after that one comes out, just so you guys can see me actually use my new toy. So anyway, hope everybody is doing well and enjoying some beautiful sunshine. If you're in an area that's sunny, I hope you get to soak up some fresh vitamin D, and I will see y'all again soon. Have a good night. Bye.